welcome back. And of course, as I mentioned earlier in the show, a very important segment lined up with, of course, return guests from BCVI. We're joined at this time by Rowan Gurel and Juan Reyna, who are both students and BCVI clients. We're joined by Carol Foster, scientist and documentary filmmaker. And we're joined by Carla Ayers Musa, Deputy Director at the BCVI. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Buenos dias.
Yes, buenos dias. Thank you for being here. Now, I want to get started, of course, I had already mentioned that we're making a big announcement as to what Rowan's fundraiser will be. So I'm going to start off with just an update on you, Ro, and how things have been going with you.
Okay, well, things have been going well. I've been studying and, you know, trying to apply myself to school. We ran into a few challenges, but everything's fine now, so.
Challenges at school?
Yeah.
Like you didn't want to do your homework?
Not exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, in regard to school, everything's fine. I'm just trying to apply myself and get everything done.
And in the midst of all of that, because you are a high school student, you're in second, third?
Third form.
Third form now, getting ready for senior year. In the midst of that, you, as you normally do, have been planning as to what your fundraiser will be for the BCVI this time, right?
Well, yeah, it's, I've actually heard from Carol about echolocation. So that's going to be the next thing for us to do.
Okay. So I know. It's just like, and everybody's like, what?
Learn it just quick, fast, and hurry.
You're trying to learn it quick, fast, and hurry. So there you have it. There's the new challenge. It's not only learning something very difficult, but learning it quick, fast, and hurry.
And that's a challenge.
So ladies, let's talk about echolocation and why this has become a part of the fundraiser for the BCVI.
Well, I'll let Carol tell you more about the echolocation, because this was actually something that she discovered and learned that it's something that we could teach our clients to do. And of course, BCVI, our main goal as far as the people in our rehab program goes is to build independence. And that's something that we do from, you know, a child is born. If they are diagnosed as irreversibly blind, we work with them to help them reach the necessary milestones, crawling, walking, and then get them ready for school. But throughout this process, it's very important to make sure that families understand that there are tools and there are things that children can do to help them be as independent as possible, because that's what every child wants. Every child wants to explore and learn. So speaking with Carol and learning about echolocation, we thought this would be a great opportunity. It's a trial because, you know, it takes a very specific type of personality and adventurous spirit to be able to grasp it quickly. And when Carol came to us, we were like, okay, this sounds strange, because I think that's what everyone's going to think when they hear about it. But learning more about it from her and talking to all the people involved, it's amazing. It's miraculous, I would want to say, because I never imagined that it could be possible. So you can let everyone know what it is.
So what is
echolocation?
Well, that's why I wanted to show the video.
Yeah.
But basically, echolocation, bats do it, right? So bats echolocate. So what they do is they click, because they do have vision, but at night they can't see too well. So they click, and when they click, they send out the sound. It hits an object. It comes back to them as an echo, and then they're hearing that echo. It's a very high frequency sound. So when they hear that echo, it's whatever the object is. So if it's an insect, they'll go ahead and be able to identify that's an insect, that's prey, I'm going to eat it. When they're going through the forest, they're echolocating really quickly, and they're avoiding all the obstacles as they go along. They know what obstacles they are. And this is what humans can do. Blind people can do this. And they have proved this, that they can do it. And they can switch their brains from audio to visual, and they will be able to see it.
Wow.
But it takes time because of the way everybody, I mean, these guys are amazing how they have their camp and their rehab, and how they evaluate students and how they teach students. They're almost there. It's just, this is just an addition to what they do. And if we can get 3 or 4 blind people to learn this and master it, then they can actually be able to teach others. But they have to have the will, they have to have the attitude, and they have to be able to really, really, really want to do it out of necessity. And that's the important thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going to talk about the selection of Juan and Rowan, obviously, but let's move into the video just so people can have a very clear understanding as to what echolocation is.
It's an addition, but it's an awesome addition.
Really? Juan, I'm going to have you tell me more about it right now. So we'll go to the video.
It's like if you guys can see with your eyes, and we can see with our ears.
This is remarkable. These people are blind in the sense that their eyes no longer function, but they see by tongue clicking using flash sonar or echolocation, like bats use to navigate their world. Hello, my name is Carol Fernetti Foster, and this campaign is to raise funds for an instructor from the World Access for the Blind, located in the United States, to come to Belize, Central America, to teach 3 blind people how to use flash sonar technique. In turn, they will teach others. We will go to familiar and unfamiliar places to practice seeing through sonar. This gives them independence and freedom, and also helps the families and the communities they live in. The World Access for the Blind is headed by Daniel Quiche, who has developed this technique and traveled all over the world, teaching more than 10,000 blind people in 40 countries. He was blind by the age of 13 months and has been totally independent since a very early age. This video will reveal how this method works and how blind people can see through sound. The Belize Council for the Visually Impaired is helping me with the people and the logistics. They are the only organization that helps the blind in Belize and have very limited funding, but really wants this program to happen. Rowan Gurrell is one of the 3 people, and he has been blind all his life. He loves the outdoors, but he needs his parents to guide him as he ventures into different environments. He loves to listen and learn about the world around him and feels the textures of living things.
Being blind can be frustrating because if I want to go somewhere, I can't do it on my own yet. I have to wait for someone to be available to take me to that particular place. I love animals and I love nature. If I could do something with them, studying them, that would be really great. But I'm 16 now and, I'm getting a bit older. And my dream is to have, my own place, my own apartment, be able to travel anywhere I want and be free. College is a really big concern because, I can't depend on people to guide me there because I have to go to my own classes.
So for him to become totally independent of us is extremely important, and that is why this echolocation for us is a dream come true as parents.
One of my friends told me about Daniel Quiche, and he is actually able to see through sound by using echolocation. And I think that's pretty impressive because he's able to be independent and free, go places and travel and do all these things on his own. And he could actually teach other blind people like myself to use that skill as well. So I hope that could happen.
I have been echolocating for as long as I can remember. If my parents think back, I lost my first eye at 7 months, my second eye at 13 months. I was probably clicking by the age of 15 months. So you're calling out into the environment. You're essentially asking the environment, what are you and where are you? And you're receiving those answers.
It works like this. The click bounces off an object, and the time it takes for the echo to return tells Daniel distance and location.
You get location, you get dimension, the general form factor of the object, and you get what we call depth of structure, which involves the density of an object, how solid it is or how sparse it is. Flash sonar is something like carrying around a flashlight with you and shining that flashlight into the environment, except instead of light, you're using sound. We can go through here, we can count the little holes here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is like a little sitting area.
I touch the table here with my cane, but not with my hand. So I can basically tell that this is a roofed-in, we'll call it a gazebo, surrounded by poles.
It isn't that difficult to teach. It really isn't. So I believe that the brain is already at least partly wired to do this. All that has to happen is the hardware needs to be awakened. It needs to be activated.
Initially, the instructor starts activating the brain by guiding the students in ways which they break down their established perceptions and expand their attitudes.
The most important aspect of our teaching is really about student attitudes. The attitude of no limits, the attitude of self-direction. Blind people are accustomed to being restricted, are accustomed to being limited.
The instructor begins by getting the student to bounce clicks off a moving panel to orient themselves.
Left. Right. Right again.
The students start to explore and push back barriers by learning to use flash sonar, first in a room and then outdoors. They begin to get more confidence and become more aware of the options they have within their environments. They interact with their environment with more precision.
Don't forget to click every now and then. And you can hear things over you. See if you can hear when the branches are above you.
Our view is that the learning process happens from within. It isn't pushed in from without. It's drawn forth from within. That's done through motivation, and it's done through perception. If an individual is perceptive with a positive attitude about their capacities, the skills that they need develop on their own.
The rewards are amazing.
Gradually going taller.
Yes.
And then goes across.
Yep.
And then it's gradually coming back down again.
Yes.
That's amazing. I can like see the car.
You can see it in your mind.
Holy mother.
This obstacle course here that I'm going to do today is not just poles. 3, 2, 1, go. It is a goal. And the bigger the goal, the more obstacles you'll face. And on the other side of that goal is victory.
Un Guinness World Record.
Stop.
E allora! E allora! E allora!
Within the foreseeable future, we will be looking at the human perceptual system and blindness in particular very, very differently. We won't be asking the question, what can blind people not see? We will be asking the question, how much can blind people really see?
I can hear that there's porousness to it. It's some kind of machine.
Yes.
Is it like an ATV?
It is an ATV.
Rowan has done many of these adventures, but always with his family and friends in hand. He helped raise funds for the Belize Council for the Visually Impaired by learning to dive the Blue Hole, climb the highest peak in the country, and walk 90 miles across Belize.
I really love doing these things, and I'm going to continue, but it would be nice if I could do these things on my own, and that would show other blind people that they could do things on their own too. They could go wherever they like.
So if he's able to get around with the cane and also using echolocation, it make a world of difference for him and for us.
How cool would it be to, be a human bat?
Now, if blind people can learn to see in the dark, then it seems to me that surely sighted people can learn to see better in the light.
All right, and there you had it, our first introduction into echolocation. And I have to tell you, I have two very excited boys on set, especially as we were listening to the mini documentary there. So Ro and Juan, tell me, how excited are you to be able to learn echolocation?
I'm I'm really excited to learn this.
I'm very, very excited.
Why?
Because it's actually a cool technique to master, and if we can get it to, if we can master it just like Mr. Daniel Keisha, I think we can be independent on our own, but we might still need some parenting help.
I'm really excited to learn it because recently one of my friends was telling me that I should learn how to skateboard because she wants to learn and she needs someone to skateboard with. And what's really cool is that in this video they're actually skateboarding, so that's really cool. And I mean, they could pretty much go anywhere they want, so it would be really nice if I could learn to do that too, because I mean, my parents aren't going to be there every day of my life, and I mean, as much as they would like me to, I don't think I want to live with them for the rest of my life. So
I'm sorry, Dad. Well, we heard that in the video a bit, and one of the more important things that you mentioned was college and the prospects. What the doors open, how the doors open with learning this technique.
Yeah, that's another thing, because I mean, at my school right now, fortunately or unfortunately, I have many people that are willing to guide me, which is great. I mean, if I ever find myself in somewhere that I don't know, then someone comes and guides me and I'm fine. The only thing is that I need to be independent at some point in my life. So with this echolocation, that could be a possibility, because at college, I mean, I'm not going to have people to guide me around the place. So with echolocation, I could get there on my own, get to my classes, get to wherever I need to be.
So he's doing it out of necessity.
Yeah.
So he will learn it.
I use a little bit of echolocation, like when I'm walking to my class, I can hear the echoes, like in the, like when you hear this, you can just hear the walls getting deeper. But when you hear the sound getting higher, that means there's a passage near you.
Wow.
So they're passively using it.
Yeah.
And when he was a little boy, Rowan, he's passively using it quite a bit, actually. When Rowan was a little boy, and even when he comes to my house, there's some bats around there, you know.
Bats.
So they were flying around behind us, and we couldn't hear them. And Rowan, he's like 10 years old, goes, "There's bats in here." And I went, "Wow." So he must be hearing the high frequencies, right? So their senses, their other senses are heightened. And so, I mean, that's a really good plus for them, actually.
And it's almost like Juan is pointing out, a tool that they learn to compensate for the sight that they don't have.
Right.
How did you discover echolocation and decided to join in on this venture?
Well, I was researching on, because we're filmmakers, me and my husband Richard, and we've been doing films here for a long time, and I was looking into bat echolocation and echolocation in general. And when I started to look for it, I saw all these animals that are actually echolocation, and then I came across human echolocation. Now, I knew about Ben Underwood, and then I found out about Daniel Cation, the World Access for the Blind. And when I did that, I forgot about the filming, and I said, forget this. I said, let's get somebody down here to help these people, to help these guys. And, you know, it's only helping 3, but hopefully it's going to be meshed
helping
in.
everybody.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be meshing in with the camp and the things that they do. That's very important. So that's how I discovered it.
This is really exciting. I think because one of the things we know that BCVI aims to do is to help children with visual impairments to be able to survive, to be able to adapt in all and every environment. They're integrated in schools now. They learn Braille. The parents learn how to work with them. And this will definitely be a great tool for the organization. So the main question is, we know that it's a fundraising effort. What is the goal that we're looking towards, and how are you aiming to get the money you need to get the instructor here?
Well, the goal that we're looking for is not just for the echolocation, because as Carol mentioned, there's a lot of work that goes in preparing someone to sort of have the confidence and the attitude and the outlook that is necessary to take part in something like this. So we're looking for support for echolocation in addition to the daily support that we're providing as well. So our goal for our rehab program is $100,000. And of that, we will be supporting echolocation, we'll be supporting summer camp, and we'll be supporting the community-based rehabilitation that we do, because Rowan gets visits to school, to his home. Rowan is one of our older students and who has learned how to be independent very quickly because he has a very supportive family, a very encouraging, very good support system. And so does Juan. So Juan, who is getting ready to sit the PSC, right, Juan?
Ready?
Yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, so we provide a lot of support in schools, in homes, you know, babies, and it's throughout the life cycle. Our rehab program does not focus just on children. So we don't have him
throughout the country as well.
Throughout the country, and we don't have him with us today, but Donovan Reno, who most people know from Love FM, is actually going to be taking part in the echolocation trial as well. So we're hoping that with this great selection of people and with the awareness that it's bringing to the importance of independence and support for people who are blind or visually impaired, that we'll be able to reach our target, because there's a lot of work that goes on a daily basis at BCVI that we really need to support, since we're not charging anything for these services. It really depends on what everyone can give us.
And currently, your outreach in terms of the number of children and adults that you're working with?
We actually, BCVI has an unofficial register, and we record everyone who has come to us who has been diagnosed as blind. And we have about 1,200 people on that list. And of that, there are a few cases that are closed, a few people that have reached their independence and call on us for support. And we are actively supporting 60 children right now. Unfortunately, last year we had about 4 or 5 new babies who were diagnosed with ROP, and we need to prepare for them to enter the system as well. So we're working with the parents and the families to get them ready to know, you know, this is what you need to expect and what you need to do to be able to ensure your child's independence.
So essentially, being able to get to your goal to cover the cost of the services that you offer for free to the children and adults, is it solely soliciting from the business community here and internationally?
Yes, that's in the past we were fortunate to receive grants and receive project support. And what has happened is that a lot of the international organizations that did this have pulled out of Central America and the Caribbean. So we really are in a position where we must rely on our fellow Belizeans to help us, and Carol has been a huge help in getting her contacts overseas as well, and so has Rowan's mom. But it's very difficult for a small nonprofit who doesn't have an office in the U.S. to say, let's put someone in there and fundraise in the U.S. You know, we really must appeal to family and friends and people who see Rowan and Juan and know Donovan and just, you know, feel a real connection to helping our own people.
So what's the timeline like to be able to get to the training portion for Donovan, Juan, and Rowan?
This is happening in August.
Yes, your camp is
in our camp is in July.
Oh, so the first one is going to be the camp. So you need to get some funding in by the next couple of months.
Exactly, yeah. So we're looking at summer camp that's taking place toward the end of July, and then a couple weeks after that, we're going to bring Juan, Rowan, and Donovan back to do the trial with the echolocation, and that's going to be about a week long.
Right. It's going to be a week long. We're going to be taking them places. There's going to be 3 days in Belize, 2 days at our place, and then Ian Anderson's sponsoring us up in Caves Branch for 2 nights. So they're going to go throughout Belize, and they're going to go to airports and to supermarkets and to what? Go ahead.
Yes, we should have went to a basketball court. Basketball court? No, like if you can send a ball going after us, and we should echo past it.
And you know what? That's one of the things that Dan.
You want to play dodgeball?
Yes, but this is great.
Like run past it, and if it doesn't catch us, throw it harder.
I think I'm going to have him. You know what? I'm going to have him do the program. Daniel Keisha said to do that. Actually, Daniel said to do that.
You know, I have to say this. We are going to have some excellent ambassadors for echolocation.
You are.
Once these guys have been trained, because they're all very independent. They all have such a wonderful spirit. And to be able to show how this will help them to move on with their life is really great. The selection of these three, let's talk about
it's
that.
very important, like we had mentioned, to make sure, and Daniel had mentioned it as well, that the people who are selected have a predisposition already to want to be independent, have a confidence, have an adventurous side to them. And that is what we have been doing with Rowan and Juan since they were very, very young. So it speaks a lot to the work that our rehab officers have put in working with the families and encouraging the families to, nurture that independence and nurture that need for creativity and exploring. And it was fairly easy to select the first 3 people that we wanted to work with. We needed to keep the group small because we only have a short period of time in which the instructor is going to be working with them. And Rowan's family is friends with the Fosters, so that goes without saying. They already knew Rowan and knew that it would be easy to work with him and knew what the criteria were. And for Juan, we see so much of a adventurous spirit in Juan, and he's always been very independent. I mean, we put him down in front of a computer for the first time, and it did not take him long to learn how to use that computer. It doesn't take him long to get out and explore and play and do things, on YouTube and searching for things online. So that was very easy. And then Donovan is someone that we all see walking through the streets, and we felt like it would be good to have an adult in there as well who could then help to pass on the technique.
And he's also passively doing it, but is making noises with his cane.
He taps his stick.
And he says, I bump into too many things. And I says, okay, we'll start that one out. And then he says, I can learn it, I can learn it. I said, good.
And Daniel has stressed the importance of still using your cane while you're doing this, because echolocation is not going to replace the cane. It's not going to replace everything that you've already learned how to do. It's just sort of an additional tool to help you with that extra step in being able to do something that no one thought was imaginable, really.
And having confidence in the movements that you make.
That's important. Yes, that's very important.
So you had mentioned when the video was running that obviously the bats are not the only animals that use echolocation.
No, it's
birds too.
What?
Birds.
Exactly. That's he said birds, because what they're finding out is that bats and dolphins are, bats and dolphins do it. But they're finding out more about birds. They're finding out more about different species of animals, like even some amphibians. There's a guy that's studying it in the UK that has then a variety of different animals. So that's very interesting, and we're very close as mammals to bats. Believe it or not, we are. And so our brain could switch if it wants to.
Yeah, if you train it.
Yes, if you train it, exactly.
Well, this is very exciting. So let's talk about how people can support this initiative.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we, for our rehab program, are accepting donations at any BCVI office countrywide. We have them set up in each district. We are also accepting donations through our P.O. Box number, which is P.O. Box 525. You can donate online if you have a credit card and you feel comfortable doing that at bcvi.org. And you can also do a direct deposit to our Belize bank account, and that's 71096. And every year we're very lucky to get, an immediate contribution from Belize Bank, and they have already pledged and said, don't worry about it, we're definitely going to be supporting you guys. So, we already have some people in the business community that are interested, that have been longtime sponsors, but it's also important for people to know that in addition to making contributions to BCVI, to come in and ask questions.
Yeah.
This is a very, we're asking people to donate to something that even we needed to research about, to know more about, to understand. And we're very excited to share this. We have our camp coming up in July, as we mentioned, and we would welcome people to come by, find out, how you can meet some of the kids that we're helping, and, learn more about the program. We are very concerned about the future of the rehab program, because we do have a diminishing, you know, market of people who can give and who want to give. And it's very difficult to ask someone for money every single year and they're like, oh, here's BCVI again. But we can show people where your donations are going. We can show people how important it is to help the children in our program. Without that support, BCVI, who are the only people in the country helping people who are blind, you know, would not be able to function. So it's an essential service.
And of course, not to, I mean, we do encourage everyday people to be able to contribute what they can to.
Exactly.
And oftentimes accessing services, paid services at BCVI is a contribution towards the services that they offer to the children who are visually impaired.
And a lot of people, I think maybe don't make that connection. You know, when you come into BCVI and you can afford to purchase a pair of glasses and you purchase that pair of glasses at any of our clinics throughout the country, that pair of glasses is helping someone who couldn't afford it get a pair. Or it's helping someone who couldn't afford cataract surgery. If you come in and you pay for cataract surgery, you're helping someone who couldn't pay for it. If you come in and you purchase a transition, really nice frame, you're helping the rehab program. So it isn't, we are a not-for-profit organization. At no point in time are we taking money from you and keeping it in a bank and saying, hey, here we go. You know, every single dollar we make goes back into the services that we provide, and that's what we're here for, to help people prevent blindness, treat blindness, and to help those who are irreversibly blind be able to be independent.
Well, I look forward to seeing you guys come back clicking away. Right? What's going to be one of the first things you try once you've mastered echolocation?
Try to jump past obstacles like balls and try to dodge a ball as it comes fastly toward me.
Okay.
Like just running, and if it doesn't touch me, throw it faster and faster and faster till it catches me.
It almost sounds like you want to play baseball, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Like the basketball.
It's me and this ball. Well, it doesn't have to be a hard ball. It'll be a softball.
So like a volleyball.
Yeah.
Beach ball.
Beach ball, yeah.
And for you, Ro, what would be the first thing you try?
I really want to try skateboarding.
All right, we're back at the skateboarding.
Awesome.
So they haven't put you on a skateboard as yet?
No.
Okay. And you want to do it on your own, of course.
I tried to work on a skateboard, but I fell.
But everybody falls, so don't feel bad.
I got badly hurt.
All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us and, of course, sharing with the public the newest venture of the BCVI in helping out the children of our country. And Carol, you know, obviously you're very passionate about this as well. So thank you for joining us and educating us on this process as well. All right?
You're welcome.
And Juan and Ro, best of luck with school and PSC coming up to Juan. He doesn't look, he gets least excited when I mention PSC. You ready? Are you ready for PSC, Juan?
No.
Yeah.
You'll do
You'll do great. We'll look for you on PSC Day. Or you can ask Rowan for tips. He did well. All right, with that, we're going to wrap up this segment. Thank you all once again. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, it's to focus on the activities for Women's Month 2015. Stay tuned.